The title of this video is going to be called "The Devil Comes Dressed in a Suit." So by this, what I really mean is that one day you wake up and you're looking around and you're seeing the devil in your life has always been your best friend. I have my share. I have had my share of disappointments. Had my share of spiritual warfare. Well, it has still been happening, but this time it's on a different level because I'm more aware and awake. So I usually know what I need to do, how to protect myself. So I know the things that I wasn't able to know many years ago. Now, I broke away from dysfunctional family matrix. It was about 3.5 years ago, maybe even 4, I could say. And that was the most difficult decision I've ever done. Now, I've already done decisions to break away from relationships. And even initially, when I broke away from a narcissistic relationship, that was also tough. It was tough in a way. But when we're talking about family, that kind of pain is on a different level. Sometimes when I do these videos, people don't actually understand uh, where I'm really coming from. But the moment you take your time to sit down and listen and you try to grasp the story and the behind the scenes of everything, you will understand sometimes where I'm coming from, because some people just find these channels and they're like, what is this guy talking about? I remember back in those days, the years when I detached from a dysfunctional family matrix, I had some people reached out, family members, sometimes, relatives and stuff. Oh, it's family, but it's family and everything. So it was hard for me to explain to them because many people don't understand abuse, many people don't understand dysfunction. And the only thing I could do at the time was just keep on moving. And I didn't have to explain to them because we couldn't understand each other anyway. We was operating at different frequencies, and what I saw is not what they could see. What I knew is not what they knew. And sometimes when I'm talking about those stories, people could sometimes think this guy was making up stories, or you're lying or something like that. Maybe you're crazy or what. So you go and get help and stuff like that. But I knew what I was dealing with. And for me, it was full confirmation. I didn't need anybody to validate me when I was living a dysfunctional system. It was my own decision. I did not ask for permission. I didn't ask anybody to help me. I didn't ask anybody for advice. I just got up one day and I was like, this is enough. Okay, I've already been dealing with this unawares behind the scenes, but this was time for me to let everything go. The devil nowadays, a lot of times, for all of you guys, the Bible scholars, you've heard about those things. Oh, the devil this and the devil that. Many people, sometimes you go to church and the pastors are talking about devil, the bishop talk about the devil, the priests and whatever. But the thing they never tell you is that the devil is lying with you in your bed. The devil wakes up and does their makeup, you know, puts on their nice colognes and whatever, shoes and stuff, and they're going to walk with you along the way, only for you to realize that you've been walking with the devil this entire time. You just didn't realize it. Because you see, the devil operates um, within people. When a person is in a very low state of vibration, if a person loses their soul, they are prone to work or to do the devil's work. When a person is in a low state of vibration, they are prone to do the devil's work. These people will cling on to you. A parent will cling on to you just because they just need your energy. It is your energy that is keeping them alive. But they're not really going to cling on to you because they really love you. Sometimes you might hear these parents. I've personally, I don't know what about for you, but I've personally never heard about love when I was in the family. I never heard things like "I love you, my son" or stuff like that. I never heard those things, you know. So I did not actually understand what love was that some people can actually be with you, but they don't really love you. It is just pretty much more of what they have to gain just by being around you. It was more of what they had to gain, but it was never really about you. When you wake up, you are always going to realize a lot of things about people. You are going to have a different perspective and a different view of what you had in your mind about certain people. And you're going to look around and you will see that the devil was not those devils that they used to talk about in the Bible. The devil was the person that was sleeping in your bed. In some case scenarios, even as disgusting. Have you guys ever woken up one day and you wondered, how did you even sleep with this person? How did you end up sleeping with that beast? Because you're now seeing the real face of this person, what is really happening behind the scenes. And it is the most disgusting experience for you to find yourself that you have been fooled for so long and you've been entangled with this particular individual. And you've been realizing that this has been the devil in your life. How is it a coincidence that the moment you start waking up and, calling back your power, getting into the healing state and stuff, working on yourself, how is it possible that your life starts to take off? Have you guys ever asked yourself a question as to why is it that you start thriving, you start evolving, you grow spiritually the moment you detach from some people and you remove and get people out of your lives? How is it possible? That's what happened to me back in the days, back in the years. So, when I was doing this channel, I was the initial stages, I was struggling a little bit. The channel was still young, and I was trying to put in the work and everything. But at the time, I was still connected to the family, and I was still hooked into the family. But when I detached from the family, it was just a couple of months, and I started seeing results. I started seeing a different level of growth, and that was clearly showing me that uh, it is the people that I used to have a lot of love for, that I held in high regard, that was usually actually keeping me stuck. Because you see, the devil intention is to keep you in loops. Stay with us. We are family, or we are blood, or let's be together. You cannot abandon your father. You cannot abandon your mother. Look at her, poor woman. Look at her, poor man. But when you start healing, you start to realize that no. This has nothing to do with the father or mother thing. This has nothing to do with the devil. It's all about energy. It has nothing to do with who your father is, who your mother is. It has everything to do with energy, because you understand where these people are coming from energetically. There's so many people that entangle with you and code into your energy, but there's things they have done. They have signed. They have signed their souls away. There is stuff they have gotten involved with that you have got no business with. So, in my understanding, I think for the empaths out there and many people around the world, you need to be careful. You need to really take time to understand people. You're going to realize that being alone is more valuable than being around the wrong people. Because the devil doesn't come wearing gowns and you see these horns on their head and stuff like that. The devil comes dressed in a suit. They are the most charming people. They're the most convincing people. Any moment you see an opportunity, whether it is a relationship, whether it's a job offer, whether it is something, and it is too good to be true, I want you to sit back and relax and think twice about it, because sometimes that is how the devil comes into your life. The devil has only 3 missions in your life: kill, steal, destroy, nothing else. It is going to be a matter of time before you're going to realize you have been destroyed. And the only thing left for you is to get up and pick up the pieces and get your life back together. But it's going to be a lot of work to be done. So don't underestimate intuition, your intuition. Don't underestimate your intuition. A lot of you guys have been with people and something was kicking off in your brain, telling you something like, they are a little bit aggressive. They are shouting or this and that, but maybe we can work things out. Maybe we can sort this stuff like that. You have been seeing these little red flags. And you usually brush it off as it could have been just a mere incident, could have been a coincidence or something like that. But the thing kept on happening again and again. And before you realized, you are trapped in a loop that you desperately want to get out of, But at this time, it's almost impossible to break the loop because you're entangled very deeply with this individual and you don't know how to get away. So I know that many of you guys are dealing with these kind of things. Is the reason why I break empaths free, because I help you realize what you're dealing with. I may not necessarily tell you the things you want to hear, because sometimes when you listen to these videos, you are hoping that you will hear something that will massage your ego or something like that. But as a truth teller, and having run this channel for quite a while, I've always stuck to the truth. It is not exactly what you want to hear, but it is that truth that is going to set you free. The moment you simply have to understand and see behind the veil. When I break empaths free, I help people to see behind the veil and to see the real intentions of the people that you have been around or been around you and you normally thought you loved, only for you to realize that those people never had any good intentions from you from day one. The relationship, the friendship, it wasn't meant to happen. You was just duped into entangling with the devil. You had no idea what he was dealing with. So understand that you have got to look through every opportunity that comes along your way. Sometimes the devil comes and will give you a slice of bread, but they're going to take a whole lot from you. So normally when you see a person who is coming around to breadcrumb you, too good to be true, they will show you all these muscles and they will promise you all this heaven and earth. Most likely you are very likely going to be entangled with the devil for a very long period of time. And before you can break out of that trauma bond, ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be a lot of work to do. Okay, so be aware, my chosen ones, is what I'm trying to say. Be aware of the techniques, the tactics, be aware of the deceit, be aware of those things that are too good to be true. You have to be vigilant. When intuition normally says or tells you something is off, listen to your intuition. Your intuition is speaking to you. That is your other brain that is talking to you, telling you that whatever it is you think is going on, there may be something behind the scenes. So allow yourself to feel things. Allow yourself to double check things. Allow yourself to ask the questions. Allow yourself to do the research before you get involved in anybody or anything that may seem good to be true. Because again, the devil may also come wearing or dressed in a suit. Let us know what you think about the video. Motivation for today. You guys know I do love and appreciate your support. Please book a session. You may donate or support my channel if you want to. Everything you need, you will find it in the description below. And until then, see you guys in my next one. There's Amos signing out. Much love and blessings. Peace.